Hey guys, we're revisiting an old classic here, Space Engineers 1.192, not because this video has anything to do with the game, but merely because the game offers a convenient way to present information, and it's a good background, and I'm not really equipped to make a camera video, so I'm just going to use this game as my visual while I go through my material. This video is going to be quite different from my every previous video I made where I was just playing a game. I mean, why not? And today I have a very doozy of a subject to get into. I have to go back in the way back machine to about maybe 1998 or so. There was a young little punk, and I was I had my own ideas that were kind of tangentially related to transhumanism, and because of that, I thought that the transhumanists had sort of advertised themselves, and there was also another word for that is the extropian movement, had advertised themselves as a group that was interested in using technology to enhance the human condition, as they put it. And that was well and good at the time. But the thing is that when I started talking to them, and there was a little bit of general augmentation and a little bit of speculative, but there was this one idea that was just crowding everything else out. That was specifically the idea of mind uploading, specifically destructive brain uploading, where the brain is frozen and then sliced like a piece of salami, and then the slice is scanned with enough detail to emulate it and to load it into a computer and emulate the host's mind. I mean, there are variations of that idea, and none of them are worth discussing. The dominant form is some form of destructive scanning, and as far as I am concerned, all of them are equivalent, and that I could go into very specific details about and proposals to how to fix the brain, how to get information out of the brain. None of it matters. The point is that today, at the dawn of the age of AI, and we're facing this on a situation that nobody else can see, or very few people can actually see on the horizon here. I mean, people are trying to understand the age of AI in terms of the near past, like what does it mean for employment? What does it mean for money? What does it mean for governance? What does it mean for all the things that we're familiar with? But what's going on? The people who are driving the AI revolution are and follow a philosophy that nobody really knows of, that very few people know about. I mean, they mentioned it. I mean, I only recently I watched a lot of videos because I had nothing else to do with my time, and then some of the more high-profile ones are coming on and saying, "Oh, by the way, and in a couple of years, everybody is going to be an upload anyway," we'll just we need to prioritize converting all the matter in the solar system into computronium, so we can run uploads faster, and these comments just sort of seem to fly under the radar. I mean, they're getting louder and louder each time I hear it, and nobody seems to call them on it. Nobody says, nobody throws a flag down and saying, "No, buddy, and we're not going to do that. It's a bad idea. And I think that a lot of it is because people can't quite grasp what is actually happening here. So I'm trying to have to try to explain their mode of thought to people who it's just not in their worldview. It's not something they're familiar with. I mean, it's something entirely alien. But I hope that through explaining it, I can penetrate that barrier and you'll understand what it is they actually want to do. And yes, they actually want to do it. And yes, it's a trillion times worse than you can probably imagine. So let's go over to the next slide here. Or the sun's in the wrong position. All right, let's talk about the traditionalism. I mean, this is sort of like the system. Either people are born into it, or they're directly adjacent to it because they live in the same culture. I'm talking about all in traditionalism. I mean, all Christianity on both sides of the schism, and all of Islam, all everything on every corner of the planet, and basically the same. I'm not trying to make enemies with anybody in the traditionalist camp. I'm just simply trying to bridge you over and make you aware of this other type of thought which don't quite see right now. And I mean, my criticisms of all such traditionalisms are right here, and yeah, I agree with some traditional. I mean, there are certainly some really basic stuff that people should do, like the sanctity of marriage and the raising of families, and that's critically important stuff there. But that's we're entering into a different world now, and we have to be ready for that world, and we have to understand the language of that world to make a difference in it, and that's what I hope to equip you to in order to be able to do here. Let's go to the next slide here. All right, a lot of the great and very intelligent thinkers I follow. I mean, like Cliff High, Max Egan, Jeff Berwick, a lot of other guys, David Icke, and they follow this spiritualistic faith. They believe that everything is consciousness, and that nothing exists prior to or after consciousness, and that consciousness is the universe. And it's basically they'll give you some DMT and a lawn chair, and then just guide you on your spiritual journey, and that's the worst they'll do to you. And they're usually pretty helpful people, or mostly within their worldview. I mean, I know what when they talk about something, all of it is true within their worldview. So I mean, I can't fault them. I mean, I don't dislike them. I mean, I have a lot of sympathy for where they're coming from. Yeah, just stupid space pirates. I hope they'll keep their distance. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's just there's nothing. I mean, these are the good guys as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I don't think they're correct, but they're not doing anything they're not spoiling my day. I mean, they have nothing that they're doing is gonna cross paths with anything I'm doing, and therefore we're friends. That's all you need to do to be my friend. Is just don't do anything that'll get in my way. What is that pirate doing? I shouldn't have done this in a game. My controller's wonky too. There's some problem with the driver. Will just cause it to go like, will just cause it to get jammed. See, I'm not pressing the controller at all. It's just stuck walking backwards. I have to. It's just glitching. It just glitched out right there. I had no idea. Anyway, this is the problem right here. I have to go very slowly through each and every point on this chart to just really make it clear what's going on. All right. Everything is a pattern. Everything is information. And the chair you're sitting on, it's information. It's just data. The mouse, it's data. The keyboard, it's data. The monitor in front of you, it's data. And this on a ship here is of course data. But if it were a good enough simulation of a ship as to be indistinguishable from a real ship, then it would be to them a real ship, even though it's just a stupid simulation of a ship. And again, I'm gonna have to hit this point as hard as I can because it's just, and they deny consciousness. They secretly believe in consciousness, and they on the surface they deny consciousness, and they say that all we need is more computation and a better emulation of the person's neurology, and that person will have not just be conscious because it's a precise simulation of a brain, but be exactly the same person as the person who went into the scanner, because it is a close enough a copy, or they claim exact, but anybody who knows anything about engineering knows that there's always a margin, and there's so within a certain tolerance, that if you emulate the person to within that tolerance, it is literally the same person and not just a copy of. Fuck you, pirate. It's getting stupid son of a bitch. It's getting closer anyway. So yeah, like. So this is not just a 3D depiction of a light fixture. It is a light fixture. This is not just a 3D depiction of a wall panel. It is a wall panel. And if this rendition of a plate of metal or bolted to another assembly was of any higher resolution, then it literally would be a plate of metal bolted to an assembly. And again, I'm gonna have to hammer this as hard as I can, because it's just nothing on this board can be overstated. This is the literal truth to these bastards. What did I put in this? All right, this is a little bit more history. As far as I can tell, the first time the idea appears to go all the way back to. There were a couple of guys. I think it was Ralph Merkel, Hans Moravec, Wiener Vinge. They were the first guys who started talking about ways to upload the mind into the computer. Now, in the early 90s, like 1990 through 94, 95, you had a couple of authors. Greg Egan was probably the most notorious. Stevenson, a couple others, presented an idea that basically the theory of mind uploading and patternism, everything on patternism was basically set in stone and made scripture in the early 90s, or by the prior to the early 90s. I kind of got spooked out around. I was active arguing against uploaders and decrying them at every opportunity because they suck, and really getting in their face because they could suck, and then around 2015 they just kind of went poof, and I didn't hear from them until about the last 2 or 3 months. They were completely silent. And now I think that they believe that the technology to achieve their dreams is right on the horizon, and they're probably correct that that is why they're coming out of hibernation and crawling out of the rocks they've been hiding under. I mean, the way I see it is, if they want to upload themselves, good. Do it. Do it somewhere that's not close to me, and in a way that I will never hear about it. Because if I ever hear about how you uploaded and how wonderful your life in your digital paradise is, it's too soon. I don't ever want to hear it. No. I don't care. Just, there's nothing to do with me. But I will now explain why that is a fool's wish in this regard. Let's go to the next exhibit. Utilitarianism. It's a 19th century philosophy. It's kind of a little joke of a philosophy because it reduces all of morality down to a single variable called utility. Okay, it's a joke. I mean, you could treat it as a joke and have a lot of fun. I mean, and it's kind of amusing. Like take. All right, so let's say you live 24 hours in your house or whatever you do on day to day. You live 24 hours, and you're one person, and let's say you're doing okay. So that has a utility value of 1. Okay. And so, what do you do if you want to have utility greater than 1, or let's say everybody on the planet, we're just not starving, not being blown up by that little stupid little country on the eastern end of the Mediterranean, and let's say everybody was reasonably happy in their life, and so you just say the utility was equal to the population. Okay, so beyond the peace on Earth, what can you do? And let's see, where do we go? Well, the way you do it is you start monkeying with the population. Well, let's see, how do you increase population? More population means more utility. So, let's see, you can clone people. You can get them to have more kids. Or you can scan their brains and make 1 million copies of them. See where I'm going with that? Now, time is the great constant, but a emulation of a brain is, they can be run, and you can change the the clock speed of the simulation so that person in the simulation experiences more time. Okay, so you have a much larger population of emulations running much faster in whatever virtual paradise or whatever fits your definition of paradise that you can come up with. And it's basically limited only by the psychological makeup of each member of the population, and therefore you can push utility very high, and because utility equals morality. I don't know, where did I put that on there? There's one of these says utility equals more. Yeah, there it is. Because utility equals morality, more utility is more morality, which means that you are immoral for not running as many simulations as of people in virtual paradise as possible. It's very, very important. Behold, the ultimate form of our civilization, a computer with an energy collector attached to it, multiplied a quadrillion times across the universe. A planet, well, once it's digitized and converted into computers, you can go explore on the simulation of it. That's their view of the future. Now, how does this work? The utility monster. A utility monster is something that produces more utility per unit time, energy, space, mass than you, to the extent that the negative utility of killing you is more than paid for by the additional utility the utility monster will yield. Now, they propose as a functional rendition of their utility monster these computer things with solar panels, and they want to disassemble all of the planets, all of the stars, all of the galaxies, to make more of those. Just those. Nothing but those. Billions upon trillions of those. That's it. That's their utility monster. Yeah, dude. I know it's a difficult concept. You think, like, how can somebody be this crazy? I'm sorry. To a mind that's thinks it's been trained in science, to a mind that reduces everything that they can't. The traditional science, when it was developing, had to necessarily exclude consciousness in order to make progress, in order to get started, to get bootstrapped. Now that we are on the brink of developing artificial consciousness, we must now study consciousness as a science. There's no way around it at this point. But these people, and that's too difficult for them. It's more convenient to pretend consciousness doesn't exist, even though they secretly believe in it. And because they believe in it, that's why they want to be uploads, because they want that consciousness to be this continued consciousness, as they believe it to be, to experience the future instead of just some random noise generator, some random seed put into Conway's Game of Life or something like that. I mean, it's literally these are their beliefs. It might not be complete. I mean, I just put this together in an evening, and finally recording it at like 2 a.m. But this is the future according to them. I mean, like consider how vast this starship is. That you got a huge starship. And then I took one of these. This ship was originally made in 2013. It was literally made a couple months after the game was first released, and instead of having a crew quarters, okay, I mean, this is kind of the type of crew quarters you would get aboard a starship. I mean, you would try to be somewhat luxurious, but well, it's a starship. I mean, it's not much room. There's not I mean, there's only so much you can do on a starship to be comfortable. I mean, it's just at some point it is what it is. But they see that, well, look out, instead of a 15,000 block starship here, you just have a computer and a solar panel, and that'll be our. And then you can have, instead of got like 6 living units aboard the starship, maybe 6 families or couples or small little bunk mates or something. You would just have that, and then have 1,000 emulated people on each one of those. And I'm sorry. I mean, this is crazy stuff. But I mean, you're just gonna have to wrap your head around it somehow, and watch these people when the high level people talk about the future and what, like, on Peter Diamandis and all this, Nick Bostrom, Anders Sandberg, all of those people. Watch what they say very, very carefully, and usually as an aside and as sort of like a sort of half mumbled little comment, he'll say, and they will admit that I know once they're done, everybody's going to be living in those little computer thingies, and that's all there's going to be. I mean, there's no starships, and no glorious space travel, no adventure, no twisty passages with spooky corridors and yeah, I refit this ship about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and it's been in. I'm playing a version of the game that hasn't been touched in about 5 or 6 years. Keenhead Software House completely broke all the controls, and I just refused to put up with it, and I just put the game down, and I like, screw you, Keen. And so yeah, goddamn gamepad screwing up. I had some bug with the controller logic or something. I don't know. I install a Windows 10 here. It's like 5 or 6 years old, so it's maybe something slipped in a bad version of something, or I don't know. Yeah, I built this deck. I built that stairwell and this deck myself. It was just a lot of empty space on the ship, and I just built these sort of crew quarters up here. But look at what this ship has to do. I mean, it has ducting everywhere. It has the air vents everywhere. It's maintaining artificial gravity. It has to maintain temperature. And where the uploaders, they say, oh, they're just going to be more efficient because all they're doing is running a CPU. Well, all you're doing is running a CPU. You're not actually exploring space. You're not building a civilization. You're just spamming computers everywhere. Does this thing even fly? Oh yeah, it's a slow old beastie. It's more of like a space liner. I mean, you just turn off the dampers and just let it coast. Maybe set it on a reasonable course. I don't know. I mean, as I said, there's a lot of good people out there. A lot of people are trying their best to understand what's happening here. what the future we're being led into is. And I'm doing my best to try to explain to the people that the situation is a lot more dire in ways that they don't understand, because literally the people who control who work in the AI labs, who are planning are basically in control of humanity's future by way of being in control of the AI labs, are exactly the same people who believe in this patternism and the imperative to tile the universe with mind uploads, and to literally kill you and scan your brain into the simulation, and that to them is the ultimate paradise and the glorious future of all mankind, even you. Let's see if we can get this thing's hyperdrive into gear. Let's see. So we've got a lot of engines on it. Gotta find the. Oh yeah, it's got a lot of. Yeah, this thing's so big it needs like 6 jump drives. Let's see. Next step, terminal. Oh yes, it's good. It's good. Got a full charge. Oh yes, let's jump this piece of junk. Yeah. It's craziness. I mean, they got a whole universe to explore, and they want to destroy it all just to satisfy their stupid little utilitarian philosophy. It's just it's unreal. I mean, how did it's because of their obsession and their moral imperative that they just have to do it, and they. Even if you don't believe me, even if you don't understand what I'm saying, I'm just saying this to you in hopes that you'll know what to keep your eyes open for, and understand what you're seeing when you see it, and that these people really do care more about running trillions of simulations in virtual paradise than letting you live your own life the way you want to live it and how you want to live it, and that's really really unfortunate. Anyway, that's it for my video. Thank you very much.